Hello, good morning, class. Hello. Emmanuel and Tokbe.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this particular session was booked saying the class, that actually very many people in the class did not understand what they were expected to do. That is in the critical appraisal assignment. So even though I received an assignment from 20 people, the ones I have marked so far appear as if truly many people do not understand. So I call this class so that I will get my feedback from you as to basically understand and the challenges that the class is having. First of all, when I gave this lecture, when I gave this particular lecture in class, and I started by actually telling us what critical appraisal is. In short, what we said in class is that the critical appraisal is basically an evaluation of the quality of the study that was or that is reported in a research article. Okay, when you actually evaluate the quality, okay, there are things that you actually evaluate there. You evaluate first of all the background of that study. That is why in practically all the CASP checklist, the checklist will always ask if this study addressed a focused issue. For a study to address a focused issue, it means that particular study that particular study was based on a specific statement of a research problem. And then that research problem was defined by some core research questions, research hypothesis, and research goals, the study aim, as well as the study objectives. So the other thing that you evaluate in a study, first of all, is the selection of the study participants. No, rather the steps that the researchers took to ensure that the people they enlisted and they recruited for their study, the way they were recruited, actually minimized or eliminated bias. So that actually sampling has to be examined. You actually critique the sample size. Was the sample size small? Was the sample size large? In fact, there is a question in most of the CASP checklist whether the sample size was enough. Before the CASP checklist will ask about whether the way these study participants were selected, whether they were selected in a way that will minimize bias, which means you are asked to also critique the sampling in a technique. So before you can actually critique the sampling used by a study, you yourself must know about the different sampling method. Okay, so you must know what it means, what a random sampling means. Okay, what a stratified sampling means, and the type of sampling that is used by the different types of studies. Okay, so the sampling methods used for a case control study might be different from that used for a cohort study, or for a cross-sectional study, or for an experimental study. And so that in a way, you will be expected, if you see that the particular study said they used with a simple random sampling, you need to go and read about that particular sampling method so that you'll be able to judge whether they have used the right sampling for the for the study method they have actually chosen. Then the third thing that is actually critiqued, that is judged, that is evaluated, that is in the study, is the study design. And I actually covered a good ground on this in class. I actually took you through the different types of study designs. I actually took you through the quantitative designs. And I also took you through the qualitative designs. And I took you through the mixed method designs as well. So that when you read any article, you are expected to judge, to evaluate, to assess whether they have used the right design for the issue that particular study studied. So if as an example, they say they want to actually study the prevalence of a disease, okay, you will not expect them to use a case control study to study the prevalence of a disease. The proper design to study the prevalence of a disease is a cross-sectional study, which means you need to know how a cross-sectional study is different from a case control study, so that you will be able to judge whether that particular study reported in that particular article has used the the appropriate design for their study. So then and then you are asked to also critique how the data was collected. There are different ways of a data collection. Interviewing, observation, not discussion groups, different types. Okay, so you are asked to judge the way the data, the evidence reported by that study, how the data was actually gathered. More especially, you are asked to also critique the way the variables were actually measured. Did they use the right measurement tools to measure their variables, to measure the exposures, the outcomes, if they were analytical studies or experimental studies? Case controls usually do not look at exposure and actually outcome. In fact, even though some cross-sectional studies, they will look at the determinant and variables of the disease that is being studied. Okay, so the way the determinants were studied and how the factors were identified to be to actually be determinants. Did they use the proper measurements for the disease? No. How was the disease diagnosed? What tools did they use to actually measure or assess the occurrence of a disease? So that the measurement tools are another thing that the CASP and the checklist is asking you to evaluate. Then before you now come to the analysis, so the CASP checklist also tells you to judge, to evaluate the way the data collected was analyzed. Did they use the right analysis techniques to analyze the data? No, I am sure you guys know that there are studies in which you actually analyze for odds and ratios. In the studies in which you analyze for the relative risks. And studies in which you actually analyze, well, in most descriptive studies, they actually analyze for the proportions, the percentages, the rates, the averages, and then the CASP tools also tells you to judge the way the results of the analysis was presented using tables, graphs, and the diagrams, the pictures, for you to judge. Basically, then the last thing you are asked to judge is for you to actually evaluate the evidence. Now, the evidence comes to, okay, what exactly did they find? What they found, did it relate to the focused issue that they went out to study. So that you must be able to actually compare the findings that they reported against the issue, the problems, that led to them conducting that study. So that is the very first, before you also evaluate the conclusions, the way they actually interpreted the evidence that they found, and then you are asked in almost all the CASP and the checklist, you are asked to also judge the applicability of the evidence. How widely can the evidence that the study found be generalized? Can what they found be generalized to the local population that they studied? Or can it be generalized universally? That is beyond the population they studied. So you are asked to judge these things. And then some of them, and I think in some of the CASP checklist, you are asked to also judge the value of the evidence. By value, it means you will have to check whether the article tells you the significance of their study, because it is only then that you can actually know whether the evidence they reported has any value in the light of the significance that they considered for their study. So basically, this is what to critique any study means. So you actually, when you critique, you are made the judge. You are made the judge. You are made to be the one who actually evaluates the study in the lines of these parameters I have actually mentioned. Now, the first test that I gave each of you, I gave you I actually gave you a specific an article, and the first test was for you to find which CASP checklist is the appropriate checklist for you to critique the article I assigned under to you. So, which means that if you do not know the type of a study the article is about, you won't be able to select the CASP aspect checklist. Let me just go online, and for you to know. I actually told you where you are to get the CASP checklist from. Let me just share my screen. And then we go online. So if you can see this, so I expected you to report your appraisal using a CASP checklist. And some of us didn't report your work in a CASP checklist. And some of you copied whatever you copied and you pasted it in a Word document and you sent over to me. And I have sent those people, well, the ones I have checked, I have actually sent back to you asking you to resubmit your assignment. So you are to check for the CASP checklist. I hope you can all see. So you are to come here and you click this. And you come here. You should be able to actually see this. And then when you click this, you will see them here. These are all CASP checklists. Can you all see this? Somebody please answer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see.
Yes, sir.
Good. So if the article I sent to you is a systematic review article, you are to judge whether it is, which type of it is this. Is it for okay, is it a review of observational studies? Then you use this checklist. The commonest article that I sent out, they're either the case control studies or the cross-sectional. Here, if you click this, it will give you free of charge the cross-sectional studies. And it will tell you which one do you want. Do you want it in Word or at a PDF? And the instruction that I gave is that please report your work using the CASP checklist in Word. So you are to download this. Okay? So, and then you can see it here. And it opens it for you. So after you have studied the article, it is only then that you can fill this checklist. What at least 2 people, okay, will get there. So you will see that if you submitted a CASP checklist, I will see this logo. It will say CASP Critical Appraisal Skills Program. If I don't see this particular logo, it will tell me that you didn't fill it in this checklist. So the other way I know that you have used the right checklist for your study is if I see this that says CASP checklist for a descriptive cross-sectional study or studies. So that means your CASP checklist tells me the study design that your article reported. Only then can I then go on to accept. So you are expected to write your name and your matric number. Some people just wrote only their names and they didn't write their matriculation number, thereby now giving me the extra work to go to start searching for their matriculation numbers. And you actually know, as a student, every assignment, every examination paper that you write, the way we identify you is actually by your matriculation number. So it is essential that you write your name and your matriculation number. and you put here the title of the paper, and you list the authors here. If you actually, well, now, since I actually sent you the article, okay, you don't need to write any web link here, but you need to write the date that you appraised the paper. So now, when you go now to the questions, now, I don't expect you to delete anything here. Yes, no, can't tell. The question here says, did the study address a clearly focused issue? Asking you, did it discuss the study problem? Did it state the study questions? Did it state the study goals, objectives, the hypothesis? It is from those ones that you will know whether the article stated or addressed a particular study issue or not. If you say yes, you must give details, which means you basically write here. Right here, when you click yes, first of all, click this, you can see it will bring this out. And then you check it if it is yes. If you check yes, you will see yes is a ticked. But you need to now write the details. Tell us why you ticked yes, which means you justify your answer. And that gives you the opportunity for you to critique the paper on the strength of whether a clearly issue was addressed by the study or not. And you write out your own opinion here. There are two papers that I have read. They actually copied and pasted their details from another source. And they all the citations and the references that the source that they copied from, they just copied and pasted. Any of the appraisal that you make, and then what I see as the details you give, they are not your own words. I will know. And then I actually penalize. There's a particular work that I actually give a penalty of a -4 for non-originality of the details they wrote. Everything they wrote to support their answers, they were all copied from elsewhere. I will not show you that particular checklist so that I don't shame that person. But there is a penalty if you do not write it yourself. Write it yourself with the English you know. If actually the English that you wrote is actually higher than what I expect your own level to write, I will know that you actually copied it from probably an online source. So that I want you to do the critique yourself. Right. To critique means to judge. You critique. You actually evaluate. If you say yes, tell us why. And I actually notice some people, even though they have actually said why, they still put they still put the other negatives that yes, clearly issue was addressed, but they also addressed this. They also addressed that they should not have done, which is very good. Okay, because that is what we call critical appraisal. To appraise means to evaluate. To be critical means you actually examine what you are evaluating critically, which means you look at the positive side as well as the negative side of the evidence that made you to tick yes. And if you say you cannot tell, and I now see you giving details that shows what you actually mean is a no, that will tell me that the answer you gave is wrong. Okay, so that I expect you can see that I can type here. Okay, I can type here, and you type it yourself on the checklist. I will need to see these questions, this particular shaded area, and this answer sheet in the checklist that you submit. If you delete them, okay, if you actually delete them, it just tells me that you copied and pasted what you filled from another source. So, and that is what I expect you to do with all the questions. No, this one says, did the authors choose an appropriate method to answer the question? Which means here, the focus here is the method. Okay, now the study method, was it appropriate? And did it relate to the question? So again, if you click no, you click this, double click it, and then this one comes up and you click checked. You can see here that I have ticked no. And if I click no, if you bring this here, you should be able to now write here, no. And you tell us why you said no, and you critique the method that was used, and you tell us why you feel that the method they were used wasn't the appropriate method to answer their question. In your own words, don't copy and paste from another article. So, and then if you click can't tell, tell us why. Can't tell means you cannot answer the question. But if I see that you clicked and can't tell, and yet you are answering the question, it will tell me that, look, you could have answered either yes or no. And some of you, because you have not read the article properly, you might want to click can't tell to escape. No, you cannot escape, because if you say you cannot tell, what it means is that you cannot tell whether the method used was appropriate, because the article didn't actually specify, or that the article was actually very, very ambiguous about the method they used, or they did not relate the method to the study. For whatever reason, can't tell means it is not clear in the article. Not that you don't know. Because if it is that you don't know, then that actually scores you down. because it will tell me that you didn't robustly study the article. Therefore, before you click an can't tell, it should be on those aspects that actually you could not answer the question from how the article presented their evidence. So, and you must justify your every answer. And you go through each of them like that. So this is a checklist for a descriptive cross-sectional study. So if the article that I sent to you was for so I will not save this. If the article that I sent to you was for okay, good. If the article that I sent to you was for a cross-sectional study, for all of you that I sent cross-sectional study, from the ones I have marked, I have an apology to make with this particular checklist. But let me open it up. So you click the word, and then it will download it will open up the CASP checklist. So I need to see the logo, because that is the evidence that, look, you are reporting using the original CASP checklist, and the checklist is what tells me that this is a checklist for case control study. And then here, again, it starts a clearly focused issue, appropriate method. Okay, the controls, exposure. So I have a fight with this particular one talking about the experimental intervention. So because you actually talk about experimental interventions in an experimental study, unless if a case control study was actually used to actually evaluate an interventional study. So I have fought with this, but then if you use this, give the answer as much as you can. I won't only penalize you, because this is not your fault. Case control and the studies shouldn't be talking about an intervention. And then you only talk about bad intervention, and talk about the size of the effect if it is an interventional study. So and so these, instead, what you should be talking about for a cross-sectional study should be the odds ratio between the exposure and the disease in the variables. Okay, so if you use this, I will not blame you, but still answer the much that you can. So now, in each checklist, there is this appraisal summary here, in which you actually write here here, you have to summarize here all the answers where you ticked yes. Summarize and you discuss them. But with you answering this question, was this study methodologically sound? So you have to summarize here using all those answers that you ticked yes, 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 yes. And you actually discuss here how they made that particular study methodologically sound, so that all the positive aspects of your evaluation, your positive evaluation are what you use to judge. So that this is where you actually conclude. Based on your yes, 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 you now conclude what makes you conclude that the study was methodologically sound. And then for all those areas where you ticked no, they are the negative areas that you use to judge whether the study had a relatively poor methodology. And then all those ones that you put can't tell, they are the unknowns, they are the gaps in the study that you actually summarize here. So that this particular summary is your own conclusion. This is where you state why you think the study is the positive aspects, the negative aspects, and the unknowns. And so you need to actually read the article before you can fill this checklist. So basically, and then when you have filled it, you send me the CASP checklist the way you have filled it. Don't copy and paste. If you have made any changes to the checklist, it means to me that your work is not original. If it is original, you will do the typing on the checklist. Now I will give you room for you to ask the questions, and I will answer your question. Maybe if you guys want me to actually give you another deadline for you to resubmit, I am happy to do so. Any questions? Okay, Evelyn, yes? What's your question?
Good morning, sir.
Oh, well, good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you, sir. Sir, thank you very much for the class, sir. Sir, please, we would love to plead for another deadline for the submission of the assignments, because now we have a proper understanding of what exactly you want us to actually do. So please, sir, kindly give us another deadline for the submission. Thank you, sir.
Okay, now which means all the ones I have marked, I am going to actually cancel your marks, so that everybody, I give you 2 Fridays from now. What is it again? 2 Fridays from now will be something like on the 19th. Okay, so please, everybody, even if you actually submitted before, please go and do it the way I have just described now. Resubmit your CASP checklist. Why this is actually important is that in this course, there is no exam. It is the marks that I give to this assignment that will be your final score for this course. So, and I know that for some, I have actually penalized you for for you copying and pasting. But I would give everybody 2 weeks to resubmit a fresh checklist. Read the article, read about this study design, so that you will be able to actually evaluate the different parameters of that particular article that I have outlined this morning.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
any other question?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Babalola?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Yes,
Yes,
sir.
I can.
Sir, yeah, my concern is that some of us did not get the assignments via our email, the ones we submitted.
Okay, yes, that was because your email wasn't sent to me by your class rep, because you were not in the class the day I delivered the lecture on a critical appraisal. But now, if you were not in class that day, it means I haven't sent you the article for you to critique. And so please give your email to your class rep, and
Okay,
then
sir.
he will send it to me, and I will send you the article for you to appraise. Okay, is that clear?
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other question? No, somebody raised his or her hand before. Okay. Yes. Olabisoye Toyosi. Yes, Toyosi, what's your
Yes,
question?
sir. Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, sir. Yes, sir. So I just want to know the difference, because you said that in the email you sent to us, you said we should give the critical summary of the work. Then you are trying to explain to us that in the capstone that's where we will list our summary, whereas we are asked to list. Yeah, no, we are asked to list the key points from your critical appraiser. Is it the same thing or is different, sir?
Now, the summary part is the part is that part after the questions. Okay, so that is where you actually make conclusions from the answers and the details that you gave. That particular summary has 3 columns. The positive column that tells whether you consider this study methodologically sound, and you list out the reasons why you think the study is methodologically sound, which will be the positive answers, the positive the summary of the positive answers that you gave, and then why you answered yes. So why? Because it is all those yes that will help you conclude whether the study was methodologically sound. And you actually summarize them there. Okay, you basically just give your conclusions, from your yes as to how you have arrived at your conclusion that the study you appraised is methodologically sound. And the negative one, will come from the no. No, you actually summarize and you conclude why you feel that the study was actually methodologically poor. And you write it in your own words. Don't copy and paste any other person's opinion. You are the judge of that paper. It is your answers I want to see. not another person's answer. Okay, and then the other ones, the unknowns. The unknowns come from all those ticks that you tick that you can't tell, you can't take, the gaps, the missing details in the study. They are what you actually summarize under the unknowns. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Then and again, sir, sorry. The cap checklist that I submitted, I wasn't able to tick the box, but I just type yes. Am I penalized for
tick it.
that?
I already showed to you how you tick. To tick, you actually double click. Okay.
Okay, double click. Okay.
And you double click it, it will tell you. Okay, let me just show it again. Let me just.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Let me just open up the. Yes, I am coming. I am opening up. Okay. Okay. So now let me now share. Okay. Can you all see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So if you come down to the question part, see, for you to click either yes or no or can't tell, you actually double click and it brings this up. So if it brings this up, for you to click it, you can see checked. Okay, default value is that it is not checked, but you want it checked. So this is the one you will click. And you click OK, and it will check it for you. See. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Double click. Again, watch. Let me make it large. Maybe some people are watching from their phones. See, if you put the cursor there and you double click, it brings this up. To now check it, you click checked. Can you see this? Can you see my mouse?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
so now when you click checked, it will check it for you. See. Okay. So, and that is the way, but you click only one. Don't click yes, don't click no. So you add if, and you only click can't tell if the article wasn't clear, didn't give you sufficient substance or to the evidence for you to answer the question. That is when you click can't tell. Okay. So that is it. Okay. Unachiamaka also Kende and Oyeko. Okay, Nachiamaka first. What's your question?
Thank you so much, sir. We are very, very grateful. So please, I want to ask for the referencing. Are we to write all the references of the paper, like the article, or we are to choose maybe write some selected references?
No, I do not expect you to cite at the references. I want you to give your own critique. Your own critique. For example, if you say the person didn't use the right method, so the details you will write will come from that particular paper. That the paper used social study to actually study that. Whereas for this type of a study, this is how it is done. In the sampling, this is how we actually carry out a simple random sampling. I don't expect you to cite any references, but you must give evidence from the paper, evidence to justify the answers that you write, so that the details you should be able to say. For example, when they ask you whether the sample size is enough for them to actually justify the answers, yes, you should say that yes, this particular study didn't tell us how they actually estimated their sample size. They use social number of people, but how did they come about knowing this sample size? If they did not state, you tell me this sample size and why you think that particular sample size was not enough. Okay, and you don't need any citation. Okay.
All right.
Kehinde, Adedapo.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah,
So, sir, during the lecture today, you made mention of some of us. For example, myself. Now, when I downloaded the caps for the appropriate sampling that I will use, the
CASP
logo,
checklist for
yes,
the study in your article.
Yes, sir. Yes. So I removed. So because I felt like the first page, which shows the caps and everything and shows all that, I actually deleted it, thinking it was just a logo. But now you're mentioning that you're saying that now you're going to penalize us for doing that because you are assuming that we copied and pasted.
Yes,
because I did it because, sir.
That is because it is the checklist that you used that will tell me whether your work was original or not. You don't delete anything. If we say submit your work using a CASP checklist, how will I know if the checklist you use is a CASP checklist or not if you already deleted the logo?
Okay.
So you don't delete anything, use that checklist and you fill your answers on it. That would be the evidence to me that it is your work.
Okay, sir. But sir, now based on what you said now, I would like to play on behalf of myself and some people that might fall in that category. That I should please tamper justice in mercy, because deducting the mark, the penalty, giving us the penalty for that is already against us already. Even though
yes,
that was
I
the
know.
intention.
That is why I am giving every person the opportunity to resubmit your work in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Resubmit your work, everybody. The assessments I have made, I will also cancel it. I am giving every person a fresh. Resubmit your work in the next 2 weeks.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Omonike Oriade. Omonike. Okay. since
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon.
I still want to ask question as regards the appraisal summary.
Yes.
To my own understanding, I don't know if it is right. I think the positive aspects, maybe it's talking about what you think that is right about the
Okay.
methodology.
Yes.
Then the negative aspects, what to consider as a limitation, as limitations you see as regards the methodology. So
No,
the
of
way
course.
you said, those of us that filled yes, I don't know if I'm right about that understanding, that those of us that filled yes should only feel the positive, and others that filled no should feel the negative. Is that what you're telling us, sir?
No. The appraisal summary helps you to actually summarize your conclusions based on the answers that you ticked in the checklist. Okay, and it helps you to write the positive, what is positive about the study. Okay, and you list the highlights of what you consider to be the positives in your study. And then most of what you consider positives, they will come from the answers that you ticked yes. Yes, 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 yes. They will be the answers that you actually summarize as to why you think the study was methodologically sound. That is what I am saying. And then the negative in the column, there will be, they will actually be your conclusion as to why you think the study, the methodology was poor. Okay? And I said that your conclusions most likely will be based on those areas that you think no, or just as you said, on what you have considered to be the limitations of the study. So that in a way, yes. So what you think no, and yet what you, after studying it, consider to be the limitations of the study. And you actually summarize them under that column. And then the unknowns, they are the gaps. And then particularly all those areas that you wrote can't tell, it means that they are the issues that are missing in the study, and you summarize them there. So positive, even the negative, unknowns, as your final conclusion or conclusions of your the critical appraisal. Okay, is that clear?
So you're saying even if we don't pick no, if we can actually pinpoint limitations from our study, we can summarize it there. Is that what you're telling us?
Okay, good. And first of all those ones that you think no, they are the weak points in the study that shows that the study failed in those areas. So you should actually summarize them under that particular negative in a column. And if there are also other areas where you feel the methodology was poor, because that gives you the opportunity for you to actually critique in your conclusion. Your appraisal should show the power of you actually comparing, where they did well and where you think they did poorly. And then the other in the column now for the unknowns, they are the gaps. Where that particular article, and it's actually where the article doesn't tell us this, doesn't tell us that, doesn't tell us 1, 2, 3, and you also critique it there, and you tell us why you feel they are the unknown. Your summary should actually be your conclusions, based on the answers that you gave, with all the yes, all the no's, and all the unknowns, or all the can't tell. So the can't tell, you can't tell because that information is unknown, and is actually missing. So that yes, you would have actually given the details under each question, but now you actually conclude what exactly what is your summary of all the unknowns, and your critical summary of all the negatives, your critical summary of all the positives in the study that you have appraised. So, and I don't know, Oriade, if I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, fine. Oriade Deji, Faith.
All right, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Well done, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the grace. So, sir, the only question I have right now is about the what's it called, the references. Do we need to actually put it there, the type of references in the article? Maybe if it's Harvard or Vancouver, sir. Is it necessary, or we should just ignore that part? Thank you, sir.
You should actually ignore. Okay, we just want you to critique the article based on those questions that are asked, and you provide the evidence, the details for your answers from the article itself. And then from your own knowledge of that particular issue that the question is about. And for example, that particular question that says, did the study used an appropriate method to address the issue? So that is where you can show to me how much you know about the study method that was used, because you are judging it. You are judging that particular study method. Did they use the right study method? No, why do you think they used the right study method? If you say they did not use the right study method, tell me why you think the study method they used was wrong. And with the evidence of what you know about study methodology, okay? So you don't need to cite or to comment about their referencing in a method. There is no question in the checklist that actually requests you to assess their referencing style. There is no question like that.
All
Okay,
right, sir. Thank you
Tosin.
very much, sir.
Yeah. Tosin Oyekon.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I would love to ask if we can get a recording of this class, as I missed some of your words due to network.
Okay, fine. I will send it.
I would like to, because I could deduce from your teachings that you should leave the CAPS checklist as it is, not touching anything. But
Yes.
for someone like me who loves to increase my font size when I want to work on the system, I don't know if I should leave it the way, or will you penalize us for it, sir?
Just use the font in the CASP in the checklist. If it
Okay,
is
sir.
too small, I will enlarge it myself.
Okay, sir. All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes, it is true. I am actually recording this, and I shall send it out to you. Okay. Temitope Akinyemi.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Uh,
I want to appreciate you for the class. It's a technical session. It's very, very useful. And also the opportunity for us to redo the checklist, sir. I want to ask, sir, I want to appeal for opportunity of CA, sir. Because if we be just based on this alone, it might be detrimental in some way. So we are your children, sir. Still appealing for CA. Maybe you use attendance or any other thing, sir. Thank you, sir.
Well, from what I have been told by your course coordinator, this is both your CA in attendance. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So, well, tell the class rep to actually send me the attendance for the first class that I held in a school. I will also add that now. I will also add that to your assignments.
Thank you, sir. God
For the
bless you,
final
sir.
score.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, good. So, okay, thank you so much, everyone. So, have a very, very wonderful weekend.
And you too, sir. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye, yeah.
Okay, sir.
Bye-bye.